flown by. We've had loads and loads of speakers, and we have been continuing the build of Briefing Room, the product that we're making in 1 week. We're going from zero to revenue. And in case you missed it this morning, we had our second payment, which was quite exciting. So thank you so much for everyone who is supporting. We also have the Slack community up and running. There's lots of discussion this morning, questions for our speakers as they go, and many of them are in the Slack community, so do reach out and ask them any questions that you have. And the takeaway from this morning's discussions, Gelb and I touched on the lean methodology and versus just getting in there, building and testing. And we also talked about feature creep and overbuilding products. So that was where we started. And to test where we were at on Slack, we put a shout out for how should we be describing Briefing Rooms. So there's an active thread at the moment, and if you have any thoughts of how to describe a place where we help you engage with your investors and create a really good open relationship with them, then let us know what you think the features that we should be highlighting and how we should be describing that. So we are going to have our quick stand up or check-in with Ben, who's been working away this morning, and then we will dive into this afternoon where we have more guests. It's going to be an investor-filled initial start of the afternoon, and then a few founder stories before we dive into a little bit of an exploration of some of the tools that we are using. So to that, I think we might get Ben on board if he is about.
Oh. Oh. Walking around with a cable is a little tough. Oh, that's
It's your
still
face.
me. I don't.
Many
don't
of
need to
the
see
Gelb
my
faces.
face. So yeah, well then, how have you been spending your morning?
So I've been cracking on with some product hunt research, and it's absolutely fascinating. So we're trying to think, where are we going to find those early stage founders who want to update their investors and who have that problem of they maybe do it, but they find it time consuming and challenging. Where are we going to find them for early adopters? So one of the things you're doing is reaching out to accelerators, and what I was doing a bit of research on the idea of us launching Briefing Room on Product Hunt. So when that should happen, how we go about it, what the experience of that looks like. And so far I've discovered that there are a lot of different pieces of advice. There seems to be a lot, we can get into it later, but Product Hunt definitely say like, this is the way that you should do it. And then people who have had experience of doing it kind of describe their hacks of how to do it. And definitely if you're out there and you're thinking about launching your product, something to be aware of is check the date of anything that you're reading, because they change their algorithms often and the experience changes. So I've definitely been noticing that you'll read something about that's a great tip and then you realize that it's out of date. So I've created a Milanote, which we played around with earlier in the week, just to try and get those information up there. And I'm taking out either key decisions that I'm making in terms of this is the day that we'll go, or key questions, we have this or this route. Let's talk about it and which direction should we take.
Cool.
So it's been a good morning on that front.
Awesome. Ben, how you doing? You're muted.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear you.
Hey.
Hey.
There you go. How you doing?
Just quickly on the product hunt thing, I haven't been listening any, so I've been
Working.
Uh-oh.
He has been working.
Yeah.
When are you hoping to do that?
When are we hoping to do that? That was a question.
It's still to be decided. Your internet connection is unstable. Yeah.
Because they might have changed, but I'm pretty sure they don't let you. You've got to have a physical product there.
Yes. So not until we have a product.
Yeah.
So you're diving in and out, but for everybody else's benefit, something that we've been playing with is the Product Hunt Makers community, which is very much here are our goals. This is what we're doing. This is a work in progress, and you can engage with a lot of other people who are working on their own projects, and you can set up aims. So that's a good way to start building a following or building connections in a community. But yes, Ben, we're not going to be launching until after the week. I'm not going to launch tomorrow. Yeah. No, so this is me scoping out what would that look like once we have the product. Once we continue to build the revenue, the next step would be finding a bigger testing base, and Product Hunt being the route to do that.
Okay, cool. Just makes sense. I just hadn't mentioned it before.
He was worried.
Wait, tomorrow? Lizzie says we're going on Product Hunt tomorrow.
Yeah, we're on now, Ben. What are you talking about?
He wouldn't put it past us. That's what he's about to say.
That's what he wanted to say.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly.
But good. Okay, glad that's a once the thing has been released. Sequence. Cool.
So, how's your day been? How's your morning been?
Yeah, good. Not too bad. Pretty much got what I wanted to get done. You can.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
It's been so perfect all week.
It has been perfect.
A kind of like a centralized, simple way for us to manage and add content to a room, knowing that I would then replicate that or reuse that code within the update builder as well, albeit with a slightly shorter list of content types that you can add. So that's now been done. You can, and I've just done it proof of concept with 3 content types. So we've got text, image, and video. Just keep it super simple for now. But basically, you're on a room. It starts out blank, saying you've got no content. Would you like to add anything? You click add, and then it asks you what content type would you like to add. And you can select one of those 3 that I just mentioned: text, image, or video. You then select it, and then you get provided with some additional options dependent on that type. And so ask for the video URL or ID, or if you upload the image, or provide some text if it's text-based.
Cool. Great demoing.
Which works out the sizing so that it all slots in nicely. And then I've created a preview button so that you can actually view the public version of that, or the so-called public version. That basically gets rid of the account Chrome and the account drop down, or a public sort of info panel for that particular company. So it'll have their web address, their strapline, their logo, and all that sort of stuff, more as a placeholder, and then it displays the content items without the editing controls, because it's now in preview mode. Okay. So kind of just wanted to get that in place as well. So although both of those now are going to evolve on their own paths, we've got a nice clean management area to add infinite number of blocks, and we've now got the capability for a public version of that reuses all that code, but just does a non-admin version of it and strips out some of the layout. Okay. And now I'm just working on just reordering so you can drag them around, and that's not on the server yet. That'll be up there in about half an hour. Cool,
great. So as you're talking, we're actually looking at it right now. I've created a room. I've then added content. It says no image. Please press edit to add a new one. So I can browse and find an image. And so what should we then be looking to, how are you expecting it to change in the next few hours at least?
Well, for one,
which is probably not.
When you add a new content item, it should immediately, once you've selected the content type, it should immediately take you to the second page to actually let you upload or choose the right information. So at the moment, it just adds it kind of like an empty version of that onto the room, and then it's just an extra step, and it still will do exactly the same thing, but it just feels a little bit jarring to have it go there. So I want to just sort of streamline that a little bit, drag and drop in terms of ordering, as I mentioned, and I want to build out a couple more, probably just one more actually. Initially anyway, content type that is just a little bit more complex than one of those 3 we've already got. Okay. So maybe it's the social profiles or a big number thing or something like that. Just so I can show from a coding standpoint how that would then work for a different type of data to be entered based on that type. Cool. And then if I can, I want to, by the end of the day, port that over to the update builder to prove that it then works and that it all works, because tomorrow I want to make sure that's focused on the sort of unique URL generation, the sending, the attribution, click reporting, gathering all the stats and then reporting on that in some form. And that's going to be a fairly extensive job tomorrow. So I kind of want to get the content creation side of it and management of that out of the way today.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
makes sense. What about yourself, Gelb? How was your morning?
Doing some research on some more Accelerator contact details. Didn't really put that up on the screen just because they're contact details.
Yeah.
And haven't been able to do as much as I wanted to do in terms of actually sending them out yet. So that's my my task for this afternoon is to send out at least 5-10 of these to get it going. Just been kind of wrapped up in trying to finish off some other stuff. So that's been a bit challenging. That's what I'm planning to do. Focus on trying to make contact with more accelerators and trying to get through to those founders that we think might actually use this thing.
Great.
Yeah, great.
All right, well, that's
thanks very much,
midday
Ben.
check-in ahead of our scheduled teardown tonight.
Okay. Let us know if you need anything.
Will do.
All right, thanks.
Cheers,
See ya.
Ben.
Check it later. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
This is really cool. Let's.
Yeah, can we have a look at it a little bit
I
more?
want to play with it now. Okay,
So just to recap for anyone who's just diving in, this is us on day 3 of creating Briefing Room, the product, within 1 week to reach revenue. And we're using Condaba, you can see in the URL, as an example. So we're both co-founders of Condaba, so as if we were using Briefing Room from Condaba's perspective, this is what we've currently built out.
yeah. So if you can see, so a lot of this stuff, see, no company URLs or branding content. I don't know if he's done this yet.
Whoa.
Let's do some branding. Let's find some branding.
So if you're an early stage founder and you're looking to keep your early stage investors up to date, this is the product that we're building to make that easier and a little less painful. So often as founders you might worry about what to share, how to share it, when to share it. It takes you a lot of time, and this is going to
Hang on.
very exciting to play with your company
Let me
brand.
see.
And this is us live testing if we can make it
Let me see if
Condaba branding colours.
Yeah. All right. Let me get our colors.
And the aim with this Gelb would be you set it up once, you've got your template there, it makes the process every
this is like your
quarter or
branding
every
setup.
month, just much simpler.
Let's see. I don't know if these are.
Like if it's implemented
I don't
yet
think
or
that
if you
these
can
are
just see it.
implemented yet, but let's just see for fun. Okay, so now what did
So you
that
can
do?
see.
You can add team members, so that was a thing that was really cool. Domain. Is
So a lot of our founders have said, well, they get reports from each of their team, and then they might report for their board or for their investors. So they were looking for the ability for other team members to be able to set their updates. So that's what the additional team members that Ben has created.
Let's
Yep.
see.
And an email signature.
Oh,
I know,
nice.
it's just hidden behind.
Hidden behind there. All right, let's just save that. Okay. So now let's say, well, updates. So he hasn't been working on updates, but let's just say a room.
So
Let's
what is a
add a
room
room.
for? What's it
So
about?
a room is for, so when we send our email updates through Briefing Room, we'll be able to add a URL, a custom URL for every single person that gets it. They'll have their own custom URL that's actually like a passwordless link that takes them into what we're calling a briefing room, like an experience where they can find out more about the company, look into more data, and see like a fuller update. And it's helpful for founders because you're then going to be able to see who's engaged, who's logging in. It's nice for investors because it allows them to maybe deep dive a little bit more into your company. It also gives them a nice experience, so you're giving your investors a nice experience.
It's passwordless, right? So
It's passwordless.
that's smooth.
Your investors and stakeholders don't have to create accounts and all that kind of stuff as well.
So if you've got maybe 10 to 15 shareholders and maybe you've been using something like, what did people describe? Said they've used like doc sent links or they've sent out individual emails to each one because they want feedback directly to themselves. This briefing room is going to be a private space for them to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to say this. Don't have any content. Let's try some content.
And then this is what he was just describing.
Yeah.
So
do we have
he's tested some initial forms of content to then see what he could build out further.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could do a little, I would so do this. Here's my 5-minute video update.
Yeah. So we haven't done the let's just get some. How about we do geography now?
As mentioned yesterday.
As mentioned yesterday, we're big fans.
Where are we today?
Let's see. I don't know if he has this done either. But let's see. What if we added a video? What happens? No videos added.
Yes. Just the ID.
This is.
This is geography now.
That's quite. Was it Nicaragua? Honduras.
No
okay.
way.
So now let's
He
add
totally
another
underplayed
one.
what he just did.
Yeah, pretty cool. Let's put a team picture
Team
on or
pic?
something. No. Team photos. Shout out to Stephen Hasher for helping us with this. These are big.
Taking our
files. Let's try
headshots.
this. All right, let's do that one. Let's see.
It's my face.
Oops. Okay, let's see. Maybe that was too big. Let's go for a small one. Let's do this one. I figure it will be too big.
This one, no go.
Okay, let's try that again. Delete. Yes. Add content. Let's see.
So his challenge was, can you add, edit, and delete content? And look at we go.
Well, we've done that.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we have one content,
So we
two
have
content.
2 content blocks, an
and
image, a
then
video.
Let's do cupcake. And now we're going to make some short 3-paragraph. Okay, so this is some cupcake and some ipsum. So we
Carrot
have a
cake
bit of-
souffle.
bit of information here, and we're going to add content, text. So just if you're watching this, this is not how you're creating an email update. This is creating this room that we're talking about for people to find out more information about your company.
So what we heard from founders was that often they feel like with their investors, sometimes they have to explain their business over and over again in the beginning.
Exactly.
So this is your briefing room for the standard. Okay, so I know that you might have many portfolio companies and you're trying to get like, what are the details on this one again? This is who we are. This is what we're about. So this is where we help founders educate their investors so that they can be the advocates for their business.
Yeah. So like this is going to, there's going to be a heck of a lot more stuff in here, but it's going to be like custom branded to your company. It'll be custom for every investor. So like if you were an investor, it might say, hello Lizzie or something like that. And then you'll eventually be able to integrate with things as well. So if you use a specific analytics tool and you want to have some sort of a tie-in, one of these blocks that right now is image, text, or video might be a graph that is pulling stuff in from barometrics or something else. And you'll be able to create different rooms. So maybe you want to share certain data with your core shareholders, but you don't want to share a lot of data with your prospects. Or
that was one of the case studies, wasn't it?
Exactly.
So the people that you want to keep warm, that you want to keep informed, maybe so that you can go and reach out to them for a future round. So this might be the ability to differentiate between those 2 different sets of people.
That's cool. Awesome.
You've
Well,
just
it's
created a briefing room.
It's starting. All right. Well,
Does the preview?
is
that what you were on?
That was what I was on. So
Nice.
So now
So
look,
yeah,
you
it takes
can't
away
do
the.
anything to it, and you can't like click through it, which is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, looking smart.
Looking smart. What do you all think? So far. I mean, this is we're only 3 days in. We're not even halfway through. We're coming up to halfway through, and it's not only like, yes, the rooms might look relatively basic at the moment, but think about what's had to happen to get us to this point. Account creation, pricing, being able to create companies in this, being able to add team members as well, and then starting the database for this was made yesterday. So this is pretty fast, and also we're not technical, as you can tell, so we're not able to help Ben with with a lot of this stuff either. I'm really looking forward to what this is going to look like.
We had a really good question from our Slack community. So Gelb, I'm going to ask you it. More on the technical aspect, what are we building briefing room in? And what kind of development or templates were in existence before that helped us build so quickly during this week? Maybe you can start with the latter.
So what technologies allowed us to build so quickly? You mean?
Yeah, so did we start from scratch? Have we used templates? How were we halfway through the week?
Sure.
And we've built what we built?
Well, a lot of it is because Ben knows how to build SaaS products very quickly, and he's built them before. So
experience plays a huge part in that.
Exactly, yeah. So he knows the common ways of setting up databases, of getting Stripe set up really quickly. I'm sure that he also reuses some of his I wouldn't call them templates, but like his processes that allow him to get this up and running really quickly. I mean, obviously it's going to look very different to this in the future. He hasn't even, I think, thought about the design aspect of it really, aside from the fonts. So a lot of when you're building things over and over again, there is a lot of repetition, like natural repetition.
So he was talking yesterday about all the different segments. So if he's collecting information through a form, or if he's enabling the ability to add, edit, and delete, those are things that he's done before. So he's pushing them out again. But as a non-technical founder asking the question, I think there's a really important point there about who you choose to work with and what experience they have, and understanding that. And if someone can demonstrate how quickly, we know that about Ben because we've seen his other products. We know what he can build.
Exactly. And it's not to say that certainly any developer can't do what Ben is doing right now. We're not don't want to introduce a FOMO thing going on there that makes you feel like, oh, this is happening so quickly. Why can't we operate at this speed? First off, Ben is doing this all on his own, and there are obviously challenges with that, but there's also speed about that. He knows himself, and he doesn't have to wait for other people. He's told, I don't know if you were listening last night on our kind of stand down, when he was saying, don't give me feedback right now. I don't want to hear anything from you. I don't want your specific notes. Hold all that until Thursday evening, collate it all, and then give it to me so that I can work on it together.
There's a huge part of that. So he's making his own decisions, so there's less complexity with that. And he described yesterday as well his thought process for, I'm going to work through a problem, and I'm going to think it out, I'm going to test it out, and then I'm going to action it.
Exactly.
So much less, collaborating, or in Condaba's case, we collaborate across time zones and distances. Yeah. And so there's much more complexity in that kind of environment.
Exactly. And you can see with our pricing page, this is awesome, and it's really cool. By the way, if you're looking at the pricing and you think, oh, that's pretty cool, if you pay right now,
it's even better, even cooler.
Add to our revenue, you lock in 50% off whatever you see here, or whatever plan you end up going for. You lock in that for life, and the amount that you spend counts towards any subscription that you go to. Or that you go on to. So check it out. Go to briefingroom.co. Support us. Lock that down, because by the end of the week we're stopping that, and we won't be having it available after that. And every day this week that price goes up.
Yeah, the price hike. So that's an experiment that we're running, and it's something that is already working for us, which is great to see. Yeah. And you can see the progress that we've made to date. And so I think even by this afternoon it's going to look different.
But in order to answer the question of some of the tools and infrastructure and technical details, the database is a Postgres database. It's configured on AWS, so it's using AWS infrastructure. It's Ben is using Git and using GitHub, but it's not really required for him working on his own. But it's getting it set up so that when other developers come in, they can easily pick up.
He's mindful of that documentation, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. In terms of documentation, the back end is on Django. If you're interested in looking at that, so that's a Python framework. And I think that's it. I mean, we'll ask him later on this afternoon if you have any other questions. So yeah, if you do have questions about what it's being built on in specific, just let us know, and we'll get the answers for you.
Yeah, so thank you for those questions. That's just a reminder that they're over on our live stream chat, which is in Slack. And that's the channel just for anything that you see that is currently happening. Fire us a question, we monitor that. And our speakers have been great today as well because they've been there to answer your questions. So feel free to circle back to them.
Yeah, right. Whenever you want. All right, so we're gonna get down and get back to work, and we're gonna hopefully be joined by a couple people in the afternoon. The schedule you can see here, but
yeah, so we'll leave the schedule up. We're gonna
get some lunch maybe.
Get some lunch, so you can work along. You can leave us in the background. We'll be coming and going, and we will check back in with you vocally later.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much.
You can grab some lunch. What?
A bio for Paul. Did you send one already?
For Paul.
Future X Paul.
Oh yeah, no, I did actually.
I haven't written a new one since.
Do you want to do a quick Sporcle before we have lunch?
Yes. Can we do it in 5 minutes?
Sure. Of course.
Thanks. We should be better than we were yesterday.
We should get Alan in here again. Yeah, Alan, if you're listening, you should come in so that we can play another another Sporcle.
Yeah, we need an Alan. Hey, have you seen that Trello are bringing in a new pricing strategy?
I know, yeah, I saw that.
Interesting.
So limiting you to 10 free boards. Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean,
we were just
give a lot.
They do
give a lot away for free. I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi.
Oh, you think it was us, not Ben?
Well, it keeps disconnected me, which is weird. giving some really good feedback about the copy.
Oh, great. Is he on? You doing it publicly?
No, it's just because I sent it to him. I'll copy you.
Have you seen my edits so far?
Nope.
I'll send that to him as well.
Just
As in
laughing.
he's in if it's not Disney again, or if it's not Disney, he will not be here.
If not if it's Disney again. I think that means he doesn't want to do it.
If
Unless,
Disney.
yeah, unless it's Disney. That's what he's saying. That's what I
Yeah,
think he's
just like-
saying. Yeah.
He doesn't like eating chocolate.
Okay. So. Callum's main bit of feedback is it needs to be like 2/3 of this length.
Yeah, he is completely right.
I'll share it with him.
Can you share? Yeah, this. Exactly. That would be amazing.
Alan just did this emoji. All right. Well, Alan, you can watch what we bring up as a potential one,
Oh wait,
and then you can decide.
it's 2:15. It's time. Come on,
yeah.
Alan.
All right. Come on, Alan.
Come on, Alan.
Come on through.
I should put
You
my-
know you gotta.
put my
Sporcle.
Oh, yeah, best be a good one. Is he totally not taking the bait?
Oh, I think it's just a little bit.
Alan.
It's just a little bit
Delete.
delayed. Yeah. All right. So what? You want me to go to a random one?
Nah, you can choose. Will we do like geography to category? Yeah.
Yes.
You don't choose like cables or something.
So like electrical cable or
So
something.
Alan thinks that is if Sporcle does cable identification, that would be ideal.
Okay, how about can you find the secret country in
that's
time?
not
No?
very much of a team one
Okay, all right.
because it'll be like over left a bit, up a bit.
Okay. Can you pick the letter that is missing from these big four nicknames?
Or are they like
I think
baseball
it's
nicknames?
sports, yeah.
Nah.
The Clash theme word ladder. I don't know
No,
Clash
but word
enough.
is good though. You picked the missing word to these.
HBO shows
It's only a minute. You name the members of the true crowd.
of the two. Oh, we can do that.
Yeah, but you either know or you don't. They're not fun either.
No. Oh, can you pick a correct movie starring Robin Williams? Nah. Growing word ladder. Oh, that would be interesting, but I don't think we can do that one. Can you name the rungs in this four-letter word ladder about Sandra Bullock movies?
Very niche.
The Lake House, that was the first one. Can you name the artist from a picture of him or her? Don't know.
Dull.
Category to which the first part of the clue belongs, but not the second.
Can you pick the category to which the first? Is it one of these that'll come up with all of the words?
I'm not sure.
Too much reading.
Yeah. If we don't get what it's going to be. There's the Yugoslavia one. Oh, Yugoslavia consonants. That would be cool. MLB, no. Random quiz.
So they're just not linked
Simpsons?
to each other?
I don't know.
Can you name 4-letter words? Oh, he's gone already.
Can you quickly pick the M country given its capital? How about that?
Okay.
So we hear a capital, and then it's a country that starts with M. Okay?
So we're just given free reign to shout countries beginning with M.
all right,
No
ready?
judgment.
Ready, set. Okay, Rabat. Which is Rabat? Should I just go?
Yeah,
Okay.
you should go.
All right, Kuala Lumpur.
Malaysia.
There we are. Majuro or Mahuro. I don't know this one. All right, let's go next. Naipedio.
I had no idea. Right, where are we?
Okay.
Have Madagascar.
Valletta.
Malawi.
Oh, Valletta. I think I know Valletta. But we can go.
Moldova.
Moldova, yeah. There it is. No, it's not. I know this one.
Mongolia.
Mongolia. Maputo, I know that one.
No.
Mozambique. Pod.
What's behind your head?
What?
What's behind your head? I can't see. Oh, okay.
Mozambique.
Monaco, no?
Huh? This one?
Oh no, sorry.
Podgorica.
All right, well, quickly. We're failing.
Oh,
here.
we're
Longwe.
Longwe.
Mali or Malawi? Mali? No. Mexico City. Oh, which one's that? Mexico. Port Louis.
Mauritius?
Nice.
Monaco.
Mali.
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 Mali. Is it Maldives? Oh.
Did they tell us?
All right, Mali. Yeah, that was the
You're off
Maldives.
to astonish the world with more feats of adequaticism.
All right, well, Montenegro. Okay, Myanmar. Oh,
Myanmar.
of course. Okay,
Did we
that's a
win?
new one. And we did not win. We scored lower than average, like we did yesterday.
Did we win?
41% to pass, right?
Not in America. Is it here? Is that a pass here?
I don't think so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Kind of.
Can you pick the year in which these major 20th century events took place? Come on, it's history, guys. It's recent history. Let's try it. Okay. Crown versus Board of Education. Oh, this is probably American themed, so you guys probably won't know this. Okay, let's do another one. Try one more. Classic film by a bad review.
It'd be funny.
Do you like classic films? Yeah? Okay.
All right,
Let's
okay.
try. The film's subtle racism is insidious, going to great lengths to enshrine the myth that the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery, an institution the film unabashedly romanticizes. Ooh. Aliens. What could it? Gone with the Wind, maybe? Probably. Anything else? Yeah, there's nothing else. One Flew the Cuckoo's next. Yeah. It's both fascinating and appalling, the sort of extravagant, technically superior spectacle that only a big Hollywood movie company could afford to make.
Ooh,
Okay.
Star Wars.
Huh?
I reckon Star Wars.
Fascinating and appalling, extravagant technically, though. But you want to say Star Wars? I think it's
You think it's Raiders?
Well, let's go back. Let's keep going. Is the first classy kung fu movie specially designed for Western audiences, and that's not to be confused with First Class. Fistful of Dollars. What is it?
Enter the Dragon.
Okay. Yep. Even granting the artist his license, America is much too big and various to be satisfactorily reduced to the dimensions of one mental ward in a movie like this. Mental ward. Was it? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Is
Nest.
that it? Okay. It reduces legendary figure to conventional movie hero size, amidst magnificent exotic scenery, but a conventional lot of action film cliches. Which one?
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur? No! Call me a heathen, but this has never been one of my favorite spaghetti westerns. Is it Fistful of Dollars? Is there any other spaghetti western on there? Yeah. One would think that a collaboration between Steven Spielberg and George Lucas would produce something better than this giggly pistache of a Republic cereal. Well, I want to say Star Wars for that.
Yeah.
Or Raiders.
Better than this giggly
Wasn't he involved in Star Wars?
I think it's Raiders.
Raiders.
Do you think it's Raiders?
So then the other one was Star Wars.
I think so. You're right. Towards the end, the film resorts to placing a young girl in jeopardy in a pathetic attempt to pander to who knows what audience. A young girl in jeopardy.
Have you ever seen Bringing Up Baby?
Nope.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Nope. Okay, don't know. I fear all work and no play has made Stanley a dull boy.
Kubrick.
Huh? Which one? Stanley
what did
Kubrick?
yeah.
Shining? No.
No, that was that Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, are there any other Stanley
It is
Kubricks?
not dull.
So, no.
Okay.
What
Yep.
does he mean?
If you've never been to the movies, it will be all new to you, a zany, ridden product of the goofy farce school, but who hasn't been to the movies? Which one's goofy?
Goofy. Jaws.
Trying to, I mean, this. I
Alien.
don't know. Sting. I don't know. If I'd call that zany though. Okay. Maybe it's aliens. It's incumbent to us to inspect the real horrors of our time, but we don't have to traffic with Hitchcock giggling obscenities.
Psycho.
As much as I admire the work of both Polanski and Nicholson, I found the title tedious from the beginning to just before the end. So Nicholson, I don't know Polanski films. I don't watch any of them, so I don't know which ones he's done. Patton?
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Was he in Patton? Never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Okay, well, let's keep going. We just got to beat 50%, which we've done. I think we've just about done. It's a coarse grain and exploitative. Oh, no, we haven't done it. No, we've not nearly done it. Which depends on excess for its impact. Ashore, it is a bore, awkwardly staged and lumpily written.
Sure, it's a war. Exploitative work.
I don't see how any gifted actor could have done less than Brando does here. He's resident. Oh, that must be The Godfather.
Oh,
Martin Scorsese makes pictures about the kinds of people you wouldn't want to know. Which one is a Martin Scorsese film then?
Is that Raging Bull?
Raging Bull, should we say it?
Probably.
Yeah. Except for Mozart music and FARP movements around the edges, it plays like a monument to mediocrity. Amadeus, I guess.
Guess so.
At 212 minutes, it's far too long. And large swaths of the action appear redundant or unnecessary. Bigger than blank, they say. That may not be a compliment. Bigger than Ben-Hur? Would that be Ben-Hur? Or Lawrence of Arabia?
Lawrence.
No, okay. It's hard to place one's affections anywhere in a world which is ruled by buttons and dials, computers and bleeps, and people whose conversation is technical, inaudible, or dull.
Aliens?
Yeah? Should we try that?
Also,
Well. Newman and Redford pass a few facial expressions between them and try to cool each other out. If there ever was much of a script, it can be said to have gone to waste.
Potentially. I don't know. I've got a big chat with that.
Ah.
Okay.
That's alright, it's okay. We
As
have
soon as I start getting excited,
an urban crime thriller which won undeserved acclaim for its efficient but unremarkable elevated railway chase and its clumsily showy emphasis on grainy, sordid realism.
Jaws.
I don't
No.
What
believe
had
you.
what had an elevated railway chase?
The Sting, maybe? I don't know. Did the Sting? Or French Connection? Maybe that was the. Yes.
We get one?
It's both fascinating and appalling, the sort of extravagant, technically superior spectacle that only a big Hollywood movie. So was that Star Wars, Lawrence of Arabia, or Ben-Hur?
Fascinating,
Jaws,
technically
man.
superior.
Or Jaws?
Technically superior spectacle. Star Wars.
Jaws was Spielberg, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson wasn't in Jaws, was he?
I don't think so. I've never seen it.
I've never seen either.
Should we do
Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
No. Toward the end, the film resorts to placing a young girl in jeopardy in a pathetic attempt to pander to who knows what
Let's do
audience.
Bringing Up Baby because we've never seen it. We don't
Okay.
know.
No.
No.
If you've ever been to the movies, it'll be new to you.
What's
We'll all be new to
zany?
you. Zany. Like,
Patton. I've never seen it.
what is zany? Which one?
Maybe just keep
Bringing Up Baby?
Bringing Up Baby until
Yes!
we get it right.
As much as I remember, so Polanski and Nicholson. I don't know who.
Don't know, man. We've only got 40 seconds left, though, so that's
Nicholson wasn't in Arabia, or Ben-Hur, or Aliens, or Star
Skip.
Wars.
So, well,
So that leaves
Pattern or the sting? Do the
Sting or pattern?
Sting.
Sting? Sure.
Sure.
I think it's pattern. It's a coarse grain exploitative work. Excess first impact.
Sure, it's a bore.
Right?
It is really dull.
Oh.
All right.
Ooh.
Hey! Oh,
You passed!
but we still got lower than the
but-
average score.
But we passed.
That's the Young Girl in Jeopardy.
Which one was? Alien.
Aliens.
Hmm.
212 minutes, far too long. Chinatown. Oh, Chinatown's the Polanski one, so anyway. Fascinating, appalling, extravagant, technically. Affections, buttons, and dials. Oh, that's totally good
Yeah.
with space and stuff. Newman and
Newman.
Redford. Ah, right. Okay.
Helps if you see
Oh well. Okay. Well, thanks everyone.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for
Thanks,
joining.
Alan.
You're welcome. Can I go now? Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break.
I'm gonna get some lunch.
And yeah, we'll be back soon.